my name is Karen. I'm currently in level 2 of Mr. Guo's Python with AI class. I just passed level 1 where we learned things like modules, turtles, loops, and so much more. I like Mr. Guo's classes because he's a very good teacher. His course outlines very clear and organized and always teaches his material very thoroughly. Whenever we have questions, he always patient to answers, and every week we also have a homework question session where we can ask help for anything. My favorite part of the course is at the end of a level where we are put into groups to accomplish a group task such as making a game or analyzing a large amount of data. All in all, his courses are very interesting and challenging, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. Happy coding.
My name is Chris Tsung, and right now I am learning PWA level 3 with Mr. Guo. I really like the PWA program. Like, it starts right from the basics and it goes way up to the advanced stuff, and it lays down a really good foundation.
Firefighters Python pre-level 3 project presentation. Okay, so as you can see, the window pops up and I press go. So see, as you move, I can shoot the fireball. And also, see, and it destroys the cars.
So I really like this program. So if you like coding, and even if you're a beginner, you should start out and join this program.
Hi, in level 2, I'm currently learning how to add, create, and put input text into files without even opening them. I am also currently learning how to analyze data using VS Code. What I like most about Mr. Guo's lesson is that he's patient and inclusive. And during the lessons, he creates small quizzes to ensure that we're paying attention.
Hi, I'm Lily from Mr. Guo's level 2 Python class. Firstly, we get a lot of freedom. So basically, we get a lot of choice on what platform we can use, and he basically leaves everything to our own hands, which as teenagers, we really enjoy having this freedom and choice. Secondly, we also get a lot of choice in our coding. He doesn't really restrict how we manage our code. As long as we get to the end product, we are fine, which I really enjoy considering that we can spread our imagination and creativity. There's always something new and exciting to learn about in his classes. We get taken step by step, which is quite simple, and we really understand the concept at the end of the day.
My name is Ryan Fang, and I'm currently a student of Mr. Guo's Python with AI level 3. Throughout the course, I gathered many useful skills, such as coding and working with different mediums of technology. This program greatly enhanced my ability to problem solve and analyze situations. Some things I really enjoy about this course is that the pace is perfect and the work is always manageable. I created a Discord server for the members of Python with AI, and it's always great to see everyone cooperating and having a good time.
We decided to make classes for this one. So, you now have the enemy class, and then the sound management.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Zhang, and I'm currently learning Python with AI level 3 with Mr. Guo. For the fire hydrant analysis, the requirements are to load the JSON file into the Python dictionary, and then to calculate the distance for each fire hydrant. How did we design the key features of the program? My favorite times of class are when we expand on the background of coding or the specific topic we are on.
Hello, my name is Tony. So I've been taking this class for a few months now and I really enjoy it. So there's 2-hour lessons and there's a break in between. You get to learn a lot, such as creating mini games and creating a graph. There's some projects you could do with some group mates. We created games such as Hangman and Snake. We created a graph about how much people got infected with COVID each month. There's some homework at the end of class you could do.
I'm currently in level 3, which means I've been learning for quite a long time. I really did learn a lot of things about computer programming, such as game design and website development and many more. My favorite part of this course is the diversity of its assignments. We really get to work on a lot of different projects and touch on basics of many other areas, such as cybersecurity. Personally, I really like Mr. Guo's teaching style because although it's very slow-paced, he explains everything clearly and makes sure that we understand why is it that we're writing each piece of code.
So my favorite part of the class is the teaching style because I find it's really, really effective at helping you learn the concepts of coding, because like the presentations are really concise, they're really well put together. The coding activities are also pretty fun, and overall the class isn't like a normal coding class. It's not boring, but it's not overly saturated with so much fun that you stop learning. It's a nice balance.
I have learned many things in Python class. I learned how to use Python in real-life scenarios. This includes the fire hydrant project and the coronavirus research project. Last, I learned how to create basic websites using Python and Django mixed together. I think that Python is extremely useful for the future.
Hi, my name is Felix. I'm in grade 10 and I've been taking Python with AI from level 1 to level 3 currently. So overall, I really enjoy taking this course. I started Python with AI with zero background knowledge, but now that I'm in level 3, I can confidently say that I'm familiar with all aspects of Python code as well as web development using Django. My favorite part of this course would have to be the projects, because there's a big creativity aspect to it. Once you get your code to finally work, it's really rewarding and like satisfying. Overall, I really enjoyed this course, and I definitely recommend this course to anyone who is trying to get into coding and web development.
Hello, my name is Juliana. I am in grade 7 and am currently in the level 3 course of Python. I have started in the level 1 course of Python at the beginning of August in 2020. Throughout these 3 courses taught by Victor Guo, I have learned about the different functions of Python, simple games, and websites. The classes are very interesting and thorough with step-by-step instructions on how to complete the homework.
Okay, I want to see everyone response to the polls. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, so yeah, so we have a grade 9, grade 10, and some other grade as well. Okay, and are you comfortable with computer? 100%, no surprise here. Have you learned programming? Okay, yeah, some already learned a little bit about programming, some are new to program. Okay, good. Okay, no surprise than previous audience. Okay, so we're all comfortable with computers. So we do lots of things on computer, video game, social mediums, video, audio, news. You can also do lots of business with the computer, right? Like a Google Class, probably you're very familiar with it. You use it a lot, pretty much every day in the past year and a half. You can also do online banking. So there's lots of things happening online. Computers are really fun. And it actually gives you the power to bring your idea into the real world. So if you have some idea in your mind, if you have some like cool website ideas, if you can do programming, you can actually allow or unleash your idea to make your idea into the real world. So computer are very powerful. And the magic about this power is called programming software. Okay, so regardless of what type of things we're talking about, social media, online gaming, or news, etc., it's all through the programming. Okay, so the magic is actually in programming. And so what is programming in general? So programming basically is it's a way you communicate with the computer, like your text message to your friends, right? In certain language. So now when you communicate to the computer, you want instruct the computer to do something you want. That's through the programming. That's through the programming language. That's something you like write to the computer, and then computer understand and will do whatever you want it to do. So that's all through programming and the way of the programming is the programming language. Yeah. And so Python is a programming language. You probably already know this. And Python is a very, very popular programming language. It's very easy to learn, yet it's super powerful. You can do lots of things with Python. It's easy to get started. It's just like English type of a syntax. And it is a very, very extremely powerful. Okay, we will see that later on. So let's start with some basics. Yes, this is the print hello world. Okay, so print is the function in the Python, and hello world is the parameter that you want the Python program to say, right? So you use this print, it's a function, and then hello world. Okay, so let's put this into the code. Let's see how it actually works in the code editor. So I have a code editor here. Okay, and then I'm just going to quickly show you the coding. Okay, so let's say we want the computer program to display something, to say something. Okay, and then the way we do this is first we need to just create a file. Here, let's just call it a demo hello.py. And then as we saw on the slides, we can simply say print. So we want the computer to do something. So that's through the Python, and then we put bracket, and then we put parameters. Okay, and then we say hello world. Okay, and then once you have this, once you use the programming language to talk to computer, to communicate to computer, and then computer will do what you instructed. Okay, so here, if you just take a look at here, it's a hello world. Okay, and then so now you get some idea. If you say, oh, I want the computer to say something else. Okay, yeah, simply enough, you will just say, for example, we say, welcome to Python with AI. Okay, so once you change the information or instruction you gave to the computer, and the computer will respond back, will do the things you instructed it to do, right? It will say, welcome to Python with AI. So now this is how computer works. And then once you get familiar with this, and then if you may think about, okay, if I build a game, I want the game to display some information to the players. So you may say, okay, welcome to my super cool game, and say, please enter your password to start. Okay, something like that, right? You save it, and then you just click on the button, and it'll say, okay, welcome to my super cool game. Please enter your password to start. So obviously, the game is not just part of it's not the whole game. It could be part of your game. So now you'll know a little bit. If I want to build a cool application, I may not know how to build everything yet, but I know how to display message to the player. Okay, so that's some little idea. Okay. So that's, you see here, Python, very, very powerful. And we'll see later, but to get started, it's not that complicated. It's just to understand the concept. It's a programming language. That's the way we talk to the computer. That's the instruction we gave to the computer. We used some functions, and then we just pass parameters, and then computer or Python will understand our thoughts, and it will do the way we want. Okay, so that is the programming concept. Okay. So now let's take a look at another scenario. Can you ride Leviathan? Okay, so Leviathan is a roller coaster in Wonderland. It's it's probably the highest one in Canada. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Okay, but in order to ride Leviathan, you will need to meet some height requirements, right? You will need to meet some height requirements. So if they will measure you, right? If your height is taller than 54 inch, then you can read it. Otherwise, you have to wait another year maybe. So how do we translate into the Python program for this situation? Given a height, and then let the Python program to tell if you can write logarithm or not, right? So basically, what we try to do is, here is the height, certain number, and then we say if the height is greater than 54 inch, then we want to say yes, you can write logarithm. Else, sorry, maybe try next year, right? So that's the concept in our mind. How do we translate this into programming language, into Python? So once again, we need to translate English into Python or programming language in this case, right? So here we say height is 60, assume it's someone's height. And then we say if the height greater than 54, then we want to print yes, you can write a logarithm. Else, otherwise, sorry, maybe try next year, right? So that's kind of another way to express your thought into a programming language in Python. Okay, before I type this into a code editor, I want to run a quick poll here and see. Okay, so if I run this program, what would be the output? Take a guess. Take a guess. Yeah. Okay, so the height is 60, and then we have a rule. If the height is greater than 54, then we say yes, you can write the logarithm. Otherwise, we say sorry, maybe try next year. So if I run this program, what would be the output? Just give it a guess. Okay. No worries, just guess, take a guess. Okay, give you another 5 seconds to think about. Let's see. Okay, let me share the result. Okay, very good job, team. Like 82% say yes, and we do have like 2 vote for sorry, maybe try next year. But the majority choose yes. Okay, let's see what will happen. Again, how do we validate our thought if the computer works the way we want? It's quite simple. Just type into here. Let's say height equals to 60. That's the height. And then we say if height is greater or equal to 52, then we say print yes, you can write logarithm. Else, print sorry, maybe try next year, right? So when you write a code, and sometimes before you write, you say, okay, based on my understanding, it should output this. Or you may say, okay, I'm not quite sure could be the result. Okay, no worries, write the code in here, and then just click on the button, like run it, and then you will see the result, right? Even if it's wrong, it doesn't do any damage, right? It's just the way to quickly validate what you thought. And the way you want computer to do it is expected, or you have to adjust or something, right? So whenever you're not sure, no worries. You can always give it a try, give it a shot, and then you will say, okay, it's working or not. Okay, if it's working, great. If it's not, then twist the parameters, make it working, right? So so now when we look at this, majority of you already know how to do this, right? So it's really simple, easy to get started. So we can also play with this a little bit. So if I say if the height is 50, what could be the result? And before you run it, you can make an estimate or guess. Say, oh, in this case, this is not true, right? 50 is not great, is not greater than 54. So I probably should say sorry, maybe try next year, right? That's my thoughts. And then I'm not sure, then okay, I want to try it. Okay, and then you just play it and you will validate the result. Okay, so basically that's how it works. Okay, so computer is really, programming is really you can try a lot. You can try different ways. It doesn't break anything. It doesn't damage anything. You can always try it. Okay. Okay, so that is so now let's look at another example. I don't know if you guys like to watch the movies. I like watch all kind of movies. There's some like hiker movies or criminal movies, etc. So one of the things probably you're familiar with is that someone tried to hack into our computer systems and try to connect to the servers, try to either download some file or upload some wires into the system, right? Some movies like that. So when you see the movies, you see there's a lot of things going on the screen, like display messages. It's a movie, right? We all know movie is not like real. So, but yeah, how like people make that movie. Okay, let's try that. We can use Python to do little thing like this. And let me just quickly do this here. Okay, let me just clean up this a little bit. And so yeah, you can focus on the screen, this portion. And then I'm just going to do Python. And then I just say maybe this and just run it. Okay, and just make the screen a little bigger here. Boom. So now it's kind of simulate, connect to the server, and then try to accessing the system and try to guess the password. You see some hacker try to guess the password. And then once authentication passed, then connect to the server and then try to upload the wires. In this case, maybe download some files, top secret files, and then down, right? So it's kind of familiar things, but behind the scenes, is it real, like hack the system? It's not. It's just some little Python program to make this a situation. So if we take a look at the code, we may not understand every single statement, but we can kind of make little sense from it. So for example, we say connect to server is eventually it's a print, right? It can print anything. It can print the connect to server and it can print access the system. So that's what we see here. And then we say authentication passed is also a print. And then we say connected to IP, a bunch of numbers. That's also print function. We also see simulate the uploading progress, right? Like from 1% to 100%, and then we print out down. So with this little, even most of the program just use a print function, and with a little bit loop, we can build like a movie things. Okay, okay. So that is another example. So it's kind of fun, very interesting. It's fun to play with it, create a little games. But wait, who uses Python in the real world? Like someone used the Python to do something serious, like who use it? So it turned out lots of companies, big tech companies use it, large organizations use it, like a Google, YouTube, Instagram, NASA. There's many companies, big, small, use Python to do all kind of things, right? For example, NASA used the Hubble telescope. They launched the telescope into the deep space, and then they take huge amount of pictures, large amount over like 2 decades. Like, how do we analyze this amount of pictures, right? And there's no enough human power to analyze the pictures, right? So they have to create a software. Obviously, it's not simple software, but it can use Python, use the artificial intelligence algorithm to automatically analyze the pictures and try to find something new, right? So really, the programming is a tooling to help us to improve productivity, and it can do lots of things. And also in the real life, finance, insurance, the big business companies, they all use Python. Interestingly, like for example, in big banks, Python is getting very, very popular. And when we think about the programming, we were thinking, okay, the developer or programmer needs to know programming, right? Needs to know Python. That's true. The programmer needs to be really good at Python, obviously. But currently, it's not just the programmers. Pretty much all the positions, right, that will need Python skills. If you are doing business analysis, finance analysis, risk management, stock analysis, and data, like marketing data analysis, social media data analysis, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of like positions will also require Python programming skills. So that's just like a computer, just like an office, just like a Word spreadsheet. It's part of the essential skills to analysis data, to processing data. Okay, so Python is widely used in the commercial companies as well. Okay, I start to see some questions in the chat. I will address those questions towards the second part of the seminar. Okay, yeah, so if you have a further question, keep sending in. Okay, now what I can do with Python, okay? Actually, it's turned out it can do lots of things. You can use Python to do artificial intelligence and machine learning. And this is actually a very popular area. And probably when you grow up, when you, yeah, so you will see more and more here. Even today it's happening. In the level 4, kids will learn artificial intelligence using Python and create some interesting program. Data science and the data visualization. One example here is that stock, right? When we analysis stock price, so we can use the visualization. We have some like a stock curve graph to show the trending of the price, for example. And it's quite interesting when you transform data into visualization. It will help you to quickly draw some information from the data. When you see like a large amount of data, sometimes it doesn't give you information. You got lots of data, but what's the information from it? But once you visualize it, you see the trending, you see the pattern, and you can actually draw a conclusion from this visualization much easier. So it's a very powerful and a very interesting area. You can also use the Python to control robots, okay? And you obviously can also use Python to create a website. Okay, let's take a look. In this example, I'm going to play a quick video. It's about 2 minutes. It will show robots can walking around, and at the center is the programming. It's the artificial intelligence. It's actually you can use Python to instruct this robot what you need to do. Okay, so I'm just going to play this short video. Okay. It's a quite interesting video, and this is called Boston Dynamic. Actually, NYDP, New York Police Department, they actually use this Boston Dynamic dog-shaped robots to do some special tasks. And so here, I think a couple of things as a takeaway. So at the very beginning, we say, oh, this robot is kind of, the dog is like very smart. It can navigate around, it can open the door, it's so smart. But after when we learn programming, after we learn artificial intelligence, algorithm, etc., so we will know what's happening inside. So actually, you can actually program something to train this robot to learn. And then once the robot get trained, it will get experience and knowledge. It can do certain things. So you will learn what happened behind the scenes. Okay. And the other thing is, if you take a look at here, so there's a spot.launch. This is actually a Python program. So behind the scenes, inside, you actually use Python to program the robots. Okay. So how can I get started? How can I get started? So that's what so we will, this program will take, I'm going to take the crawl, walk, and run approach. So we will start from like zero knowledge, zero experience, and then I will help you to walk through the process, download the Python, download the Visual Studio Code, start to write the very first programming language, and then walk you through step by step. And along the way, you will see how the code is working, just like you saw earlier. You see the demo, and then you will have the coding activity with the detailed instruction. So you can actually coding yourself. That's probably the most interesting part. It's very fun to put your hands on the code, type in something and see result. Sometimes it's working, sometimes not, then you kind of troubleshooting. So that's actually a very fun process. So once you get comfortable with the Python programming, and then you will start to do a little bit more complicated tasks, and then you can build some games, website, do some artificial intelligence, do some data analysis, etc. Okay. And in the level 1, you will have over 50 fun coding activities. Basically, it's assignment or homework, but it's quite interesting. And give you a little scenario like you saw earlier, and then you somehow need to translate the situation into the Python code. And through that process, you will learn, you will practice this programming, and then eventually it will help you to build your muscle memory. Eventually, the coding skills will be part of your like nature muscle memory. You don't need to think about that, and then you can just start write code. You don't have to remember, like memorize anything. You just need to practice this, and then the more you practice this, it will become nature, part of your nature. Okay. And also, if you want to advance to another level, then you will be able, you could be part of the group project. So you can work with your, you can choose your team members, like 2 or 3 students can work as a group, working on more interesting or challenged projects. Okay. So if you joined early, you probably saw the video. So lots of students talking about projects. So that's the group project. Okay. Okay, so essentially, learning Python is very, very interesting. And it will help you not just gain the programming skills, but also can sharp your problem solving skills, critical thinking. And once you want to model a game, or or sometimes you may want to build some websites, so you need to go through certain design process or thinking process that actually, so the whole programming exercise will help you to sharpen your problem solving skills, and which in turn can help you like other subjects. Okay. Okay, so now we can get started. We will get comfortable with the coding, get practices. And so after I got comfortable with Python, what could be the next? Okay, it's turned out there's lots of things we can explore. So we start from very basic, zero experience, step-by-step, crawl approach. Once you get comfortable with Python, you can advance to the Python advanced skills to further polish your skills. And the more you learn, the more interesting program you can make. And then you can start to build a website within Python. Yeah, so if lots of kids actually like build a website, and once they know how to build a website, they can add their own creativity into the website design and bring the idea into the real world. Artificial intelligence is quite an interesting area. So you can create an artificial intelligence program we call AI agent. Basically, it's a program. It can learn the game, and once it's learned the game, it can play the game very well, like a superpower. So it's quite interesting. Once you get comfortable, you can also like advance to the next level, and explore in many different areas. Okay, so it's quite interesting as a learning tool, to learn the programming. Would Python help me in the long run, right? So if you are, I do see we have a grade 9, grade 10 students. And so if you say, okay, can it help me in high school? Can it help me in university or even beyond? Chances are yes. Lots of students, they select the programming in high school, in grade 9, grade 10, grade 11. If you have a good programming background or experience already, it will be like extremely easy to get high score when you select a programming language, computer programming in high school. And Python is one of the most popular programming language in the university to teach computer introductory courses in the US and also in Canada. So you see here. And Python is also in the real world as a career. Python is also growing really, really fast. This is in terms of the demand of different technology. And so Python is a very, very fast growing technology that demanded in the real life. Okay. Okay, so that is the things I try to cover. And then before we start the Q&A session, I'm going to show you a couple of demos so you can have a better sense of what Python can do. And at the meantime, if you have any questions, you can type in the chat as well. Okay. So let's take so this is another quick example here. Let me just try to run this. And let's say Python, and then let's run this sunflower thing and see what's happening. Okay, let me just, yeah, it's here. So you see here, it's kind of it's drawing something on the screen. And what it does is it draw a line, and then it turn a certain degree, and then draw a line again, and then turn certain degree. So basically it's repeat the two things. Go forward, turn certain degree. Going forward, turn certain degree. Basically it's repeat these two actions again and again and again. And eventually it will give us this thing. At the end, it will just fill in the graph with certain color. Okay, so that's something Python can do as well, right? So you say, there's a diversity of things that Python can do. And then if we take a look at the code, so we see here, there's a Python with AI level 1, and then we say, okay, we actually set the title here, or you can add your name here. So this super cool game by John Smith, right? And then you see here, we use red color, we use yellow color, and then we move forward, we turn, we move forward 300 distance, and then we turn left 170 degrees, and then we just keep repeating this, right? And then we will get something like this. Okay, so yeah, probably when you say this program first time, it doesn't make, like, you cannot make sense of every single statement, but at least you can kind of see, understand some of it, right? Like a title, like a move forward, and then turn certain degrees, right? But once we learn it, you will see how it works, and you actually will put your hands on it. You will actually create a different kind of things, like a graphs. So that's one of the example here. So you will see very diversity, right? Different type of things. Can we do something serious? That's fine to play with it, to have those kind of fun coding activities. But if you say, oh, what else I can do? And you probably can, I can show something like this. So this is one of the coding activity you will do towards to the end of the level 1. Obviously, once you learn all of those. But eventually it's a data visualization example. Data visualization means we try to visualize the information. So we talk about COVID-19. COVID-19, there's a case going on at the very beginning. There's smaller cases, and then it's the case number going up, and government try to flat curve. And then, so government have a public measurement in place and try to control the curve. So that's so when we like do analysis, so we need to have information, we need to have a data. So the data is actually from federal government. So federal government is like they publish the information. That is the reliable source to get information. But information is in this format, right? How do we know the trending? Like it's going up, going down, going flat? How do we compare one province to the another? You have data, but it doesn't give you information, right? It doesn't give you information. You got data, but it doesn't give you information. So how do we like draw information from the data and then use that information to make decision, right? So government, lots of researchers, many people like interested in this. So we could use Python to do a little bit of this. So we have this little Python code. How big it is? No, it's quite long. It's not that long, about 100 lines. Don't worry, you may not understand every single statement, but you will learn it. So at the end of the level 1, you should be able to understand all of this, and actually you will be able to do this. So let's just do a quick testing here and just say COVID-19.research. Why? Okay, so here, what do we try to do here? We try to convert the data we saw earlier into this graph. So this is 2 lines here. One is Ontario, the other one is Quebec, and the blue one is Ontario, the red one is Quebec information. And then you see the pattern is very similar, right? In terms of the daily COVID cases, it's at the very beginning, it's small, and then it's kind of increased a lot, and then it's kind of a flat a little bit, and then going up again. In general, Quebec is worse than Ontario, so we see the line here. But at a certain point, Ontario start to have higher cases than Quebec, right? So from this, it gives us lots of rich information and easy to understand, easy to digest, right? And then when we look at this, what do we do here? How do we, what governments do to flat the curve? So it keeps flat a little bit, but why? What happened in here that make the cases moving up? And then like what Quebec government do to lower the case rate? So there's lots of things we can thinking, and then we can try to find answer or information, and it will help us to make a decision like for government, etc. So you see, and this this is a visualization idea, like how do we visualize data into a graph? Okay. Okay, so that's another example. And we talk about artificial intelligence. I just want to quickly show you the general capabilities. So the other one I want to show you is Python. Let's just say translator. So I have a little, oh, do I have that one? I may not have that one here, but oh, okay, we do actually. Okay, let's run this a little translator here.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what.
So probably you heard that a little video or audio. And so that's in English. And then if I try to translate into a French, so the little program will translate that English into French and will speak out, will speak the French. So this program will do the translation and speak.
我妈妈总是说生活就像一盒巧克力，你永远不知道你会得到什么。
Actually, in this case, it's Chinese. So here is the Chinese translation, and you will you probably heard the voice as well. But if you want to this translator to translate to French, that's simple enough. So here you see the language. Instead of saying Chinese, in this case, ZH represent Chinese. If you want to say French, you just say FRCA, French in Canada. Okay. Once you change the programming language code here, and then it will translate English into into French, and then we can say something different. Okay. So we can just change to another sentence, English sentence. And then to have there's a translator to do the translation. Okay, so let me just run the translation one more time. Now we will see the French
They've
translation.
graduated college, have spread their wings and are attempting to fly.
Okay.
Ils ont obtenu leur diplôme d'université, ont étendu leurs ailes et tentent de voler.
Okay, so here is the French translation, and they also heard the speaking part as well. Okay, so just a little quick things. So once you know Python programs, you can do lots of things, very diversity. If you want to explore, if you are interested in different area, chances are you can use Python to help you to bring your idea into the real life. Okay, so that is the seminar portion, and now I'm going to open the floor for the questions. I already have questions come in. I'm going to address those questions. So you can either type in your question into the chart, or you can also use the raise hand in the Zoom menu bar. You will see a raise hand, and then I will unmute you, so you can also speak out your questions. Okay, so now let me address the first question here. So the question is, how do I download the Python? Okay, that I will show you here. And okay. So it's quite straightforward. And so you just need to go to the python.org/downloads. And then if you hit enter here, you will see this download page. And here you will see the download button. It's quite smart. If you are on Windows, it will automatically display the download for Windows. If you are on Mac OS, it will automatically download the Mac OS version. So basically just go to python.org/downloads and then click on this button, and then you will have Python installed, and then you can start to have fun. Okay. In the level 1, I will walk you through how to install Python and how to install the Visual Studio Code that you saw earlier. And I will walk you through what else you need in order to quickly build a Python program. Okay, and hope this addressed your question. Are you good? Okay, any other questions? Okay, I got a couple of questions coming. Okay, I'm going to address. Okay, students will attend project with group. Any charge for? Okay, no, it will. The group project will be part of the class. So yeah, once we finish the level 1, and so you get some idea of the coding, and then when you move on to the level 2, you will be able to join if you want. You will be able to join the group project without additional charge. So is everything is already part of the class. Okay. So you do not need any specific equipment. So basically, if you're using computer, if you can join the Zoom meeting, your computer is good enough. So you could use Windows 10, you could use Mac OS. If you even have Windows 7 or 8, it will work as well. But I believe most of people already use Windows 10. So in terms of hardware, yeah, as long as you can go like browse, it should be okay. You don't need to install anything in advance. So in the class, I will walk you through all the software you will need, right? So all you need to have is a computer that you can join the online session. Okay, so if you can join the Zoom, your computer should be fine. Okay. And okay, so that's a good part. So once we start like basic coding, sometimes we want to do a video game. We will do a video game. We will do the graph. We will do artificial intelligence. All the software we're going to use are all open source. So there's no additional cost for software. Even the Visual Studio you saw earlier is actually a professional development tool used by the people sitting in the high-rising buildings in the corporate head office. So we're going to use the exact same programming tools, but it's also open source and it's free. So so there's no additional cost for any software we need. So that's one of the reasons the Python growing so fast. So there's a huge amount of open source community. You can do lots of things through the open source. And also I will explain what's the open source in the class, and I will show you where is the open source actually happen. And if you're interested, if you have skills later, if you want, you can actually be part of that, the open source. You can be like, you can become a contributor to a Python community if you're interested. Okay. Okay, I'll be able to use Python on iPad. Very good question. Yes, you can. You can even write Python on cell phone. But I don't. Yeah, but yeah, you could. It's just not as efficient as in the regular desktop. You could. Okay. Very good questions. Okay. Okay, let me just check if any. Okay, so seems we all like the chart. So yeah, feel free to send your questions. And yeah, can learning Python help my high school learning as well? Yes, very good question. So for at the very the immediately benefits is that once you learn programming, and when you choose the programming courses in grade 9, 10, 11, you will feel the program is so easy, right? So you will easily get high score. So that will help you, obviously. And the other one is when you go through the learning process, it will actually help you enhance your problem solving skills, critical thinking skills. If you join the program, group program, you will also do the presentation. You will also need to explain why you do this way. So it will help you the presentation skills. I think all those skills will help you to learn any subjects. It will improve your learning experience. So so you will get lots of practices. And we have some students at level 1 kind of just do like 5 minutes talking the presentation. And then in the level 2, they become like a more confidence. They can speak like 10, 20 minutes. So yeah, so once you have practices, have opportunity to practices, and there's no risk, right? I encourage everyone to give it a shot, give it a try. So in that way, you will practices, and when you will use the presentation skills in the high school or even in university or even in the future as well, right? So yeah, so I understand everyone have a different learning pace. So don't worry, don't push yourself too hard, but just give it a try. Like I mentioned earlier, when we see the program, what's the result? Okay, give it a try, and yeah, we can always twist the code. Okay. Okay, so I have a zero experience. So do you think I can learn coding? Absolutely, you can. I'm talking in my experience. I'm learning from coding from like zero experience as well. Even though I'm in programming like in more than 20 years, but I start from zero experience, just like everyone else. And also, I do have, most of my students are starting from zero experience. So I will walk you through every single step. You will get very detailed instruction with screenshots. So you can follow along the instruction step by step. In that way, you will get used to it, get comfortable to programming, and then yeah, and then you can do more and more. So absolutely, you can learn coding from if you have a zero experience. Okay, no issue there. Yeah, and also the if during the coding, if you have stuck somewhere, okay, I stuck this well, I spent like half hours, I could not move on. We do have Q&A sessions that help you troubleshooting to help you move along. So don't worry, just be patient with yourself, and yeah, and it will work out. Okay, other questions? There are other coding languages, and why should I start from Python? Very good question. So yeah, there's many programming language out there. I probably know how to use like 20+ programming language in my career. And then when I switch to Python, I feel it's really interesting one. So there's a couple of reasons. So first, Python is easy to learn. You already saw like how quickly you can start with Python. It's like an English style syntax, and there's no like weird grammar you can follow. So it's kind of easy to understand. So it's extremely helpful for the beginners to focus on programming concept, to focus on produce result rather than struggling with weird syntax. So that's number one. Number two, Python is a real life programming tool. It's not just for learning purpose. It's not like a Scratch. Probably some of you know the Scratch programming language. It's not like that. Python is a real deal. It's a real deal. Like JP Morgan, Google, Facebook, NASA, banks, they all use Python. It's very powerful. It can do lots of things. So you may say, I'm still deciding what I'm going to do in the future. I may not get into the like programming area. I may do marketing analysis. I may do finance. I may do like different things. okay, Python can help you. Python can do lots of things, as I mentioned earlier. And so, yeah, whenever you like need to work with like data, etc. So there will be the chances are you can use Python to do analysis. Okay, so it's a very, very fast growing area. Okay. So that's why we use Python to get started. And it's also quite interesting. You saw you can do video, you can do game, you can do data analysis, you can do artificial intelligence. Not a single other programming language can even close to the Python in terms of diversity. Okay. Okay. So any other questions? So while you're thinking questions, let me try to do something here. I try to run another poll. Okay, very quick one. And okay, let's jump on. So what do you think? What can you do with Python? So just based on what you heard, like what can you do with Python? This is multiple choice, by the way. Okay. So you give you 5 seconds to respond. Yeah, feel free to give it a guess. I always encourage it, students to make a guess, right? Based on what you heard, make a guess. If you get correct answer, great. That enforce you already understand this. Okay, you can move on. If you get wrong answer, no worries. That's indicator you need to clarify this. You need to learn this. So either correct or wrong. I want you to have a clear picture of on this topic, right? And if you know it's wrong, then you can quickly fix it, right? So now it's becoming your knowledge, right? So if you're unsure, that unsure will remain on your mind for a long time, right? So just make a quick guess, and once we see the result, we can quickly adjust, and then that will become your knowledge. That's very efficient. So that's why I encourage you to do this. By the way, I will do pop quiz in my class. I will, similar as you saw here, once I cover the topic, I will show the quiz and quickly check your understanding. So you can also kind of measure, do I understand correctly or do I need to adjust? So that will make the learning experience much easier. So yeah. Okay, let's see what do we have. Let's see the overall responding. You can also see the poll result as well. And okay, so lots of us say it can create games. Probably you're interested in game. It definitely can. Great. Second, another one is create websites. Yes, you can use Python to create websites. Great. And can use Python to create artificial intelligence. Yes, Python can do that as well. If you're interested, you actually can do this yourself in the future. Create a chatbot. Yes, we didn't mention the chatbot in the presentation, but obviously yes. Actually, in the level 1, you will build a very simple chatbot. Okay, once you learn artificial intelligence, you can actually build a very smart chatbot. It can talk to real people. Yeah, just with the artificial intelligence and AI, and it's not that hard. Now it's hard, right? Everything is hard, but once you kind of learn step by step, and then you will be able to do that. So with Python, you can do all of this. You can do all of this and much more. Okay, so that is what I want to cover for today. And hopefully from the session, you will get a better idea of what is Python, what you can do with Python, who uses Python, how Python can help you like in school or even in future. You also have some, you see what Python can do, get some idea of these courses or program as well. And also I try to address the question. So, and just I'm going to conclude this session. And just before I conclude, any other last minute quick questions? Feel free to raise, okay, through the chat or raise your hand or through the chart. You cannot download iPad. Yeah, you probably have to use a certain special way to install on the on iPad. So this website I showed. This website is only targeted for Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and others. So you will need to find a specific way to download on iPad. And same thing for the cell phone. You will need to find a very specific step install if you want to install Python on iPad or cell phone. Okay, but on desktop, it's pretty straightforward. Okay. Okay, with that, I'm going to conclude this session. And once again, thanks everyone for joining. I hope you enjoy the session, and hope to see everyone in the in my Python with AI class in the coming Sunday. Okay, have a good night. Bye, guys.